It hasn't even been a month since President Biden withdrew from the presidential race on July 21st. 9 days later, Democrats all but handed Harris the nomination during a virtual roll call. Just a week after that, Harris picked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to run with her. And here we are tonight. When I walked through the United Center, the enthusiasm was palpable, but also a sense of relief among Democrats that they seem to have a stronger hand to play now against the Republicans with Harris at the top of the ticket. So it's not too long to go until Election Day on November 5th. So beginning with this speech, Kamala Harris had to show a policy position that was more moderate than when she ran for president before. So let's look at some numbers because this is really important. A New York Times poll shows that likely voters in key swing states, that's very important, say that Harris is too liberal. 45% say that she is too liberal or too progressive. So she really needs to move the number on these voters. Did this speech help to do that, do you think?
If you did not know that Kamala Harris was a Democrat and you watched this convention over the past couple of days, you would have thought that this might have been a Republican convention from maybe, the Reagan years or the Eisenhower years.
When the party was more centrist.
Absolutely. Even though she may have some progressive ideas and values, as does Walz, and she certainly showed those in the last time she ran for president. Who you saw her tonight as this prosecutor who is telling people what they need to do, that's who she is, and I think that this is going to help with conservative voters, conservative Democrats, give her a second look.
Governor Walz's speech tonight may help introduce him to voters around the country, but an Associated Press poll shows he has to hustle his way out of national obscurity. About 4 in 10 Americans don't know enough about Walz to have an opinion of him, and roughly 3 in 10 say they don't know enough about Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's running mate. The same poll shows Walz had a smoother launch as a VP candidate compared to Vance. About 1/3 of U.S. adults have a favorable view of Walz, and 1/4 have a positive opinion of Vance. And that social media hype is tangible. A Monmouth University poll found voter enthusiasm quadrupled since last year. Quadrupled. Take a look. Just 21% of Democrats were excited about the 2024 election in December. Compare that to 85% now.
Let's get to a court case we've been following for you here today. The latest in Donald Trump's hush money trial, where the woman at the center of that case has finally taken the witness stand. Our Glenn Jones has the latest on the adult film star Stormy Daniels, what she had to say today in court. Glenn.
Colton Daniels has been testifying for hours about her alleged sexual affair with Trump. Prosecutors argue former President Trump paid Daniels $130,000 to keep quiet about their affair while Trump was running in the 2016 election. Trump has pleaded not guilty to falsifying business records in connection to those payments. On the witness stand today, Daniels has already testified that she didn't care about the money in payments for her silence. Daniels said she still accepted that $130,000 to sign a non-disclosure agreement, even though she understood Trump would benefit from it. Daniels has said part of the hush money payment was that she couldn't have any contact with Trump, testifying, quote, "We had to pretend that we didn't know each other at all," basically. Trump has denied any allegations of an affair with Daniels. The key part of Daniels' testimony today is that she accepted Trump's payment because she wanted the ordeal to be over, not for the money. She remains on the stand at this hour.
Well, now we want to get to the latest in Donald Trump's hush money trial. The defense cross-examined adult film star Stormy Daniels for hours about her alleged sexual affair with the former president. Our J.C. Monahan joining us in the newsroom with more on what was said today. J.C.
Well, Priscilla, this was Daniels' second day on the witness stand, but unlike yesterday, she fired back against Trump's lawyers. During the 2016 election, Daniels signed a $130,000 non-disclosure agreement to keep quiet about her alleged sexual affair with Trump. Well, today, Trump's lawyers tried to discredit her claims about the affair. Daniels pushed back in heated and sometimes uncomfortable exchanges. In one instance, for example, Trump's lawyer told Daniels, quote, "You have a lot of experience making phony stories about sex." Daniels lashed back with, quote, "The sex in the films is very much real, just like what happened to me in that room with Trump." Yesterday, the adult film star gave graphic detail about her sexual encounter with Trump. He was seen cursing and shaking his head during that testimony. He has denied the affair and pleaded not guilty to falsifying business records in connection to the hush money payment. Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, is expected to take this stand at some point.
Well, new this afternoon, the FCC has outlawed AI-generated voices in robocalls. Now, this all coming ahead of a time where those kinds of calls can be weaponized. All right, J.C. Monahan joining us in the newsroom. And J.C., New Hampshire voters just dealt with a similar incident during their Democratic primary last month.
Yeah, Priscilla, that's right. We reported on this. Primary voters got a call from what sounded like President Biden telling them to stay home. NBC News obtained a copy of that robocall, so take a listen.
We know the value of voting Democratic when our votes count. It's important that you save your vote for the November election.
Sounds pretty convincing, right? Turns out a company from Texas created the AI voice known as a deep fake. The Federal Communications Commission just announced calls like that are now illegal. The FCC can now issue fines to companies using deep faked voices in their robocalls. Those fines could be up to $23,000 per call. This new regulation opens the door for call recipients to file lawsuits of their own. That means if you get any bogus calls, you could potentially recover up to $1,500 in damages for each call. On top of that, a bill from House Democrats would double that maximum fine. That has not passed yet. But according to Robocall Index UMail, U.S. robocalls peaked at 59 billion in 2019. Those numbers dropped during the pandemic, but they've picked back up with more than 4 billion calls in January alone.
Hey everyone, it is 12:22 on your Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for watching us here at NBC 10 Boston. I'm Colton Bradford. My sidekick, Melody Mendez, is off the desk today. She should be back tomorrow, though. All right, we are following here at NBC one of the most anticipated court cases in the region, really and truly across the country. I mean, this thing is making national headlines these days. The Karen Read murder trial. Jury selection got underway earlier today, and the first day of Read's trial, as we already know, Read is accused of killing her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. This was in January of 2022. Prosecutors say she hit him with her SUV and left him to die in a blizzard. But her attorneys here, they're saying that she's being framed and this is all a part of a massive cover-up and that someone else is responsible for his death. And all of this background has made a highly followed trial here in Massachusetts. That means jury selection, the process here, it could take a while. Legal experts, they believe as many as 150 potential jurors could be in and out of Norfolk Superior Court each day.
And it's the court's job ultimately to make sure, nonetheless, that we have an impartial jury that is going to be able to determine on the basis of the evidence submitted over the course of the next 6 weeks whether she is guilty or not.
So let's zero in on this. This is Judge Beverly Cannoni you see right here overseeing the case, and she's considered dozens of motions from both sides, we should say, on Friday. That includes one that allows prosecutors to conduct background checks on potential jurors. Now, as we already mentioned, the background of this case, it's sparked a lot of attention, a lot of it on social media, TikTok, it's all over the place. And you can see right here, I mean, it's brought hundreds of people to crowd Norfolk Superior Court. There's a good shot right there. People that we talked to outside court earlier today, they say that they've shown up to every one of Karen Read's court appearances all the way to last summer. And that's despite not even knowing personally Karen Read or O'Keefe or even being from the town of Canton, the town at the center of this case, of this trial here. Now, this case has also brought with it, to be frank, conspiracy theories and media coverage as well. One of Read's most staunch supporters, Aidan Kearney, who a lot of folks know in town better as Turtle Boy, was spotted outside court earlier today.
Somebody posted on Facebook that we should have one color that we all wear, and Karen Read actually posted herself and said pink.
So you see a lot of the pink right there. Supporters here, they might not be able to wear that pink for long. Judge Cannoni has made it clear that she does not want the jury to be impartial or to be impacted in any way here. All right, so as you can imagine, there's a lot of eyes on this trial, on this case. Our team here at NBC Boston, NECN, they're going to have live coverage of the Karen Read murder trial. We're going to carry all of that testimony live on NECN, NBCBoston.com, and, of course, on all of our NBC Boston streaming platforms. All right, we are back with more on Boston, trying to get a grip on its pest control problem. It has been nearly a year since the Boston City Council has proposed an Office of Pest Control.
And that office will be headed by a so-called rat czar.
Love it.
Scepter, crown, and all. We're going to bring in our rat czar here at the station because she takes care of all the pests around here. Political analyst Sue O'Connell. who knows the city council better than arguably anyone.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the thing. Ed Flint spearheading this initiative. He was inspired by New York City. They did the same thing, right? They got a huge rat problem. Anyone who's ever visited Manhattan knows that. How badly does Boston need a rat czar?
Let's take a look at my 311. I use 311 quite a bit.
Perfect.
Let's see.
Okay.
Dead animal pickup this morning. Pet infestation. Residential trash out legally.
Yeah.
Let's see. So dead animal
rodent
pickup.
activity.
Rodent activity. So we need it because COVID sent all the rats from the restaurants here, and now they're living with us.
Are you volunteering to be the next rat
No,
czar?
I'm not afraid of them anymore, basically. But they really do need to be, we need a czar in charge of them.
We only have about 15 seconds left. If it's anything like what the New York City rat czar position was looking for, they said that they were looking for someone highly motivated and somewhat bloodthirsty.
That's me.
Determined to look at all solutions from various angles.
We know that woman, and her name is Sue O'Connell.